There have been three phases, amazing three different phases, most unusual in any state. Just let's start with how we got to this point. How we got to Mamata Banerjee being in power for 15 years. Look back, there are three distinct phases of politics in West Bengal. Phase 1, that happened in 1996 to 2001. That was the rise of Mamata, the rise of the TMC, where she demolished the Congress. The Congress went from nearly 40% down to just 8% in one election. And she went from virtually zero to about 31%. That is a phenomenal change, rarely seen in elections. Let's go to phase 2 now. That's between 2001 and 2016. That's the rise of the TMC again, but this time it demolishes the left. In 2001, the left was nearly 50%, 49.1%, and it dropped to 27%. And she went up from 31% up to 45%. Again, a huge and most unusual change and swing of this magnitude is rarely seen in politics in India and anywhere around the world. And then comes phase 3 of Bengal politics. Phase 3 is the rise of the BJP. Phase 3 is 2016 to 2021, the last assembly election. So the rise of the BJP demolishes whatever was left of the Congress and the left. Congress and the left together in 2016 were about 39.5% and they dropped to about 10%. And the BJP went from 10% to 38%. These are phenomenal changes. And that's where we are right now. Let me ask, I think, Monadeepa, don't get me wrong, don't take it otherwise.
Sure.
You are one of the most respected journalists of India. You've lived here, you've watched the politics, you've understood it better than anybody else. So explain it to us, especially this young man. These three phases, Mamata coming at the expense of the Congress, then the expense of the left, and then the BJP rising so fast suddenly. What happened? Why was this change?
Don't want to go too much into history. I could take all day. But the fact of the matter is, Mamata formed her Trinamool Congress 1998. And then in 2004, however, after an initial success, she got one seat in parliament. She was reduced to the only person in parliament representing her party. That was 2004. And a lot of people wrote off Mamata at that time. But
you didn't.
No, I've been
saw something coming.
I have been watching her since 1984 and I knew the story wasn't over.
You were not born in 84. Come on. Anyway, let's go.
So Mamata Banerjee, lone MP of the Trinamool Congress in 2004. And what happens next is the Sachar Committee comes along. Sachar Committee, which examines the condition of Muslims all over India and says West Bengal's record is very, very poor.
And she latches, okay.
She latches on to
and
that.
we'll go into that actually, the Hindu-Muslim aspect here. Right. But you're saying that was key in the change.
Key in the change of support drifting from the left and Mamata Banerjee making the most of that opportunity, along with, don't forget, Shingur and Nandigram.
What about the recent rise of the BJP? What a phenomenal increase.
Well, Bengal was waiting for a change. For 37 years, the CPM and its allies ruled the state. Congress always second. And Congress normally more interested in Delhi. Ajit Panja, Pranab Mukherjee, Ghani Khan Chowdhury, everybody looking there and not here. So the party here got weaker and weaker. And Ms. Banerjee has been agitating from the early mid-90s. 1998, as she says, she formed a party. Jyoti Basu retired in 2000. So the old,
right.
Jyoti Basu forever fell. So as I said, these are two parties fighting, doing nothing. So there was a generational change, I think. And Mamata, of course, first got the Congress vote because she had been a Congresswoman. Later on, the 2011, I think the Communists fell to Mamata. That weakened them even further. So then she took their vote.
And but I wanted you to also focus on the BJP
yes,
suddenly.
Because, when there's left, there is always right. There is another. Both the positions were vacated. The Congress vacated the position, the left vacated the position, and the BJP smartly swept in. And as you were saying, the BJP then picked up whatever was left, the change that was left, and then again actually has become a two-party system, like it was for 40 odd years in Bengal. So we're back to where we started. Both parties are new, both parties are different.
Baj, you love data. For the BJP to have such a swing, to go from 10% to nearly 38%, that's phenomenal. Just in one election between 2016 and the recent one. What explained that sudden change?
I think Durab touched on, if there is a void in the CPM or the left front, having lost, there was nowhere for anybody to move to. I mean, the CPM was not an alternative. They didn't have the leadership anymore. The BJP had funds, it had a national leadership. I think they were able to capture this, and I think they got a lot of the CPM cadre, which also works on the ground, which helped them, which is what they lived on.
Yeah, but it's really surprising that the left went to the BJP. So carry on from Baj. One of the points that you raised that the BJP has also changed a bit. In what way?
Well, in 2021, we had a wave upon wave of BJP leaders coming in from Delhi. It was like the central BJP leadership was running the election here. That has changed. We had the Prime Minister coming in and personally attacking Mamata Banerjee. Now he doesn't mention her by name in any of his
That was a big mistake when she said Didi, Didi.
Didi, that cat call really went down badly.
Went down badly.
So this time round, he doesn't even mention her name. And BJP's strategy towards the Bengali voter is changing.